People, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel, people. Smash a like as you're coming in. Welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking about Manuel Ugarte, guys. Manuel Ugarte's deal. Where are we with the negotiations when it comes to, getting another midfielder? Because we know we need a midfielder, right? Ugarte deal could, or is it off? We shall see. We'll talk about it. And then what's the deal with outgoing when it comes to Scott McTominay? What's going on, Zaid? Welcome. Smash a like as you're coming in, bruh. Welcome, welcome. Listen, Ugarte deal. All right. So, yeah, man. According to reports, we're going to be talking about this Manuel Ugarte deal. Again, with the Ineos, the way they're rolling with Man United, they always give us a curveball, right? Reports are breaking. They're saying Manchester United are switching the focus of their search to sign a midfielder away from Manuel Ugarte, right, onto other candidates. Listen, this whole transfer window, right? They've been saying, Ugarte is the right one. Ugarte is the one that we're going to go with. It looks like now, we decided to pivot. Now, is this the right thing to do? What do you guys think, man? Zaid, what do you guys think? Is this a good move for Ineos and to move away from Ugarte? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. In the comments, man. Basically, this is I'm reading a report from David Ornstein here from the Athletic. It's saying United have been exploring the deal, obviously, to bring in Ugarte from PSG, which is supposedly costing 60 million, right? And the fee they paid, basically PSG wanted us to pay 60 million, the same price they paid Sporting Lisbon in 2023. Really? So basically what PSG, they're trying to basically they're calling us maybe fools or something, because these players don't depreciate their value, right? So you pay 2023, you pay 60 million, and now you want 60 million from us, Man United. What's up with that, right? So it doesn't make sense. And if honestly, the way I'm thinking about it is, listen, if PSG didn't want to play ball, I like the fact that we said, you know what, it is what it is. We're gonna look somewhere else. Now, this could be Ineos' negotiation tactic here, right? We're trying to show PSG, like, look, we want this player, but if you guys don't want to agree with the deal here, we will go somewhere else. We do have the other targets, right? And the PSG already brought in João Neves, and I think they signed somebody else. I forgot the kid's name. So they definitely need to offload a player, right? And obviously, we're not willing to pay this much. And according to Zaid here in the comments, smash the like, people, as you're coming in, right? Listen, we have other targets. We got Zubamendi is one of those targets. I see that it could be Zubamendi. I can see that we're also looking at Rios from Palmeiras. Let's see, who else? Yeah, but the only thing is Zubamendi has a release clause of 60 million. So, yeah, if we're not going to pay 60 million for Ugarte, I don't think we're going to be able to go for Zubamendi, man, because again, the price, right? So let's I'll respond to that real quick, and let's talk about more about this article from David Ornstein. He's saying that looks basically they United they're willing to continue negotiating, but PSG needs to be willing also to drop that price, right? Okay, so. Yes, ETX, welcome, smash the like, people. Yes, Man United, we are out of Ugarte's deal, right? That is the report from David Ornstein has dropped, saying United, they are out of the Ugarte deal. They're going to look somewhere else, right? Because basically, according to this report, the valuation between United and PSG is way off, right? And United are not willing to basically pay the same amount of money that PSG played to Sporting Lisbon 2023 when they signed it, right? Which is ridiculous. Players depreciate, man. Anything you buy a car off the lot, the minute you drive away, you depreciate, right? PSG is trying to recoup the money they paid for this guy. Come on, it doesn't make sense, right? So honestly, I am glad that we are showing the world, right? Ciao, welcome, big up, welcome, man. Smash a like as you're coming in, right? So yeah, I'm glad that we are willing to show the world. Listen, Man United, we are not the old United where you're gonna be holding us to ransom. Say, hey man, listen, I know you want this player. You're gonna end up paying a whole crazy amount of money, right? We're not gonna do that. So that being said, to me, listen, this deal with UGARTE, we can put it aside, and I would go and focus on maybe Fofana. Fofana, I think it's going to cost us like 35 million, right? To me, I think that will be the target that I think we should focus on. But again, since this news about UGARTE is just dropping late, in the UK, late evening, maybe later on tonight, we may get some more information from Ornstein or Romano saying, okay, where are we really looking at? Because all these other targets that people are throwing out there, they're mere speculations, right? So we shall see where they're going to go, because right now we definitely need a midfielder, that's for sure. And because what we have now is not going to work in the likes of Casemiro, right? We need to bring in another target. Now, we saw reports that today that Man United, again, we're going back there to Frankie De Jong. Frankie De Jong, I do not want to hear that name, man. I do not want to hear Frankie De Jong, man. Right? I'm traumatized. That summer where we chased him the whole summer trying to bring in Frankie De Jong, and he chose to stay at Barca. Now I'm seeing reports that United have offered Anthony like as a swap deal to kind of sweeten the deal to Barcelona in order for us to get Frankie De Jong. Listen, first of all, Frankie De Jong, he's going to want too much money, because right now all the players that I'm seeing, I agree with you, ETX. No young, man. It's again injury prone. So yeah, exactly. So we don't want Frankie De Jong, right? So if it was me, I would definitely, obviously those news about the Frankie De Jong could be fake news. I don't believe him very much. And again, Anthony, if he was to go to Barcelona, come on, why would Barcelona get Anthony? A player that really kind of flunked at Man United and then goes to Barcelona. It doesn't make sense. So I don't think it's going to happen. But bringing it back to our midfield situation, right? So it will be, for me, it will be Fofana will be my choice. But again, I am not the CEO or the sporting director. You guys throw out some names out there we can discuss. It could be also that, because honestly, the bottom line is money, right? Ineos, Manchester United, they don't have money. They need players to go out, to be sold, right? For example, in the midfield, we need Scott McTominay to be sold, right? Where are we on that? Scott McTominay is still negotiating. We see that he's still negotiating with Fulham. Man United, they say that if we get a bid of about 30 million, Man United could be willing to take that bid for Scott McTominay to go to Fulham. And I see reports that now Scott McTominay is more open to the idea of going to Fulham, right? So, for example, if we bring in that 30 million, then we can use that to bring in that other midfielder that we're trying to bring in, right? Because for us to pay 60 million, we don't have that money to go and find it, just pay PSG upfront and all this stuff. We don't. So that's why we have to make sure, like, before we bid for any players, we have an outgoing. So hopefully the deal for Scott McTominay goes through. Fulham takes him, because again, Fulham, listen, man, I know you watch this channel. Scott McTominay will get you goals, but he's not going to work with our system, right? The way we're trying to play going forward. But Scott McTominay will get you goals, right? So, he has value. So hopefully he can go, and then we can bring in maybe, I don't know, work out some kind of deal with, as Zaid said here, with, for example, Zubamendi. I don't know how we're going to do that, because Zubamendi is also 60 million release clause he has. So that's going to be tough. So it could be, I'm thinking more of a Fofana. But again, I trust Ineos and this new sporting group, because they definitely have a plan, right? They're saying to all these teams that we're negotiating, just like the way we did with Brantwaite. we're not going to be, kept, held with our pants down here saying, okay, we have to get this player. Branthwaite and Everton, they played hardball. They wanted 70 million. Man United, Ineos, we pivoted. We say, forget it. We're out of here. Boom, we're bringing Euro. So I'm thinking it could be the same kind of situation that we're going to see here in the next coming hours or day, whereas we were focused on UGARTE, right? And then the deal, it kind of fell through because PSG didn't want to play ball. Then we're going to pivot to another target, which I think that will be the target that we're going to end up getting. That's what I think. Whenever these news come out, and then we have the Ornstein or Romano talking about a certain next target, that could be the target that we're going to get, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right? Based on, Ineos track record, right? So, so basically, if we do that and we, get that target for midfield, because we know it is crucial. Imagine starting a season, even the game on the weekend with Man City, having Casemiro there and Kobe Mainoo, it's going to be the same issue that we had last season. And that midfield is actually weaker now because we don't have Amrabat. Think about that. We don't have Amrabat. So again, Amrabat is another player who has been sitting on the sidelines waiting for United, because we already told him, listen, man, we're going to come back and get you. But I think what Ineos was trying to do, Omar Barada and the team, they say, look, Amrabat is, he's cool. He wants to wait for us, right? But what they're trying to do is work all these other deals, right? If they're gonna bring in Fofana or Zubamendi or whatever deal they're working on Ugarte, once they get that player in, then they'll be like, okay, we have secured our primary target. Then we can go and bring in Amrabat back, because they know Amrabat is not going anywhere. It's going to cost maybe less than 10 million to bring him in. So they're trying to see how much money is left before you go in and maybe work out the deal for Amrabat. Now, if at the end of the day, we don't bring in that primary target for that midfield, someone who has legs, right? Someone who could be that midfield general, right? Who can dictate that midfield, because Casemiro, unfortunately, cannot do that. If we're not going to bring that, and then we end up with Amrabat as the only incoming in the summer, that will be, honestly, it will be a failure for the Ineos team, which I don't think they would want that, because the fan, us and you all, will be on their case, man, because we will say, look, okay, fine, you brought in, Lenny Yoro, you brought in Xerxes. That midfield, games are won and lost in the midfield. We know that. I know that, and I'm not even a professional, right? So they know that, listen, we need that midfield was wide open. We need someone with legs, right? So, and even if we bring in Amrabat, he had a few good games. So really, you cannot say, okay, Amrabat is going to be your only midfielder coming in and thinking like, okay, it is well and good, right? Now, could it be now, because we don't have money to pay these transfer fees, maybe what we're trying to do is, people smash the like as you're coming in. If you haven't followed yet, smash that follow, hit that subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. All right. So it could be that since we don't have money to pay these transfer fees, maybe we're trying to bring in Rabiot and Amrabat, right? Because Rabiot is a free agent, right? We bring in Rabiot. The only thing with Rabiot is going to demand crazy weekly salary, right? He's probably going to demand more than 200K a week, which Ineos, they're trying to get rid of that model, right? All the players that we're bringing in, they want them under the 200K. That way, it's easier to manage, easier to move them on if things don't work out, right? Now, would Rabiot being able to, is he going to be able to play that number 6 role? I think he can, but I'm thinking it's going to be more of a double pivot, him and Kobe Mainoo kind of situation. He cannot play that 6 by himself, because ideally you want the player coming in, like Ugarte. If Ugarte was to come in, or Zubamendi, I think they can hold that 6 by themselves, kind of give Kobe Mainoo that chance to kind of move up a little bit, play as an 8, and then Bruno continue playing as a 10. That way they're not really concentrated in that midfield, right? So that's basically what we're trying to do in that midfield. And Ineos, I'm sure they know this, right? We expect them to get this done for us, or else they're gonna hear from us. Because listen, even today, man, I'm watching all these channels that I watch online and checking Twitter and stuff. People are not really, some people are not happy that we left the deal with UGARTE, because they're like, listen, PSG told us from day one, like, listen, we want 60 million. Why did we wait so long to leave the deal, right? Because it could be that what it could be. Man United did one of these things, right? They were like, okay, let's wait. If PSG get Jean Neves in, then they can be forced to make a deal with us, right? So we were like, okay, we're gonna go to US to preseason, and when we come back, we'll talk again, right? So we checked back in with the PSG. Yo, are you guys ready to make a deal now? PSG was like, 60 million, man. We already told you, right? So it's one of those. To bring the before, yeah. So basically that's what they did, and then they're like, you know what? And Ineos now they're like, listen, we're not gonna play like what we did with De Jong back then. The whole summer we're chasing a player, right? They're willing to leave the deal. That way they can focus on something else. That way you don't waste time, because you can sit here and say, oh, back and forth with PSG, thinking that they're going to drop their price. And, before you know it, the transfer window is over, because August 30th is around the corner, man. And then you're pretty much stuck. So I'm glad they did this. That way they can focus to other targets, which they know they could make it work. Now let's see what we could expect, in the next coming days. Hopefully, I hope that we don't leave this deal as well. The deal I'm talking about is Matthijs de Ligt, right, and Mazraoui. Listen, from what I see on those two is, again, discussions are ongoing. Fabrizio Romano said discussions are ongoing. It looks like they can definitely iron out and come up with a deal for those two. I think I saw with the Ligt. Let's see, with the Ligt, I think they're asking for the six. Basically, the package deal they're asking for is like 60 million, right? So 60 million for both players. I think that's not a bad deal, man. Right? It's not a bad deal. It could be like 40, maybe 45 for the Ligt and the rest, Mazraoui. I think that's not a bad deal. There's no point in yours to sit here and start to nickel and dime, for those two players, right? There's no point, right? So there's no point to nickel and dime. Let's just finalize the deal. That way, we bring in de Ligt, we bring in Mazraoui. That way, at least we know in the defense we're kind of okay, right? We're okay in the defense, because honestly, we need de Ligt in yesterday, because at least we want him in ASAP. That way, at least he can have some, training with the first team, and maybe do like 30 minutes or the 45 minutes, with the Man City game. I really don't worry too much about the Man City game. I want more him to be in for that Fulham game, because the Fulham game is what is really gonna start counting. I mean, the Man City Charity Shield, Community Shield, it's basically, you can say it's a glorified preseason friendly, right? But again, it's Man City. We want to beat them, right? But so hopefully, Ineos, they don't start playing, this whole transfer thing like the past, the Glazers and the Woodward they used to do. You drag these transfers so long, instead of, if the team you're negotiating with, they look that they don't want to play ball, you pull out a deal, you go to something else, right? So I really hope they do that, and instead of wasting time trying to negotiate with these teams. Like, for example, I still see here that apparently United, they're still looking at the Branthwaite deal. They still think they can bring in Branthwaite. Come on, man. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Let's focus on players that want to come, with Bayern, who know they want to make a deal with us, and we bring in de Ligt, who's his bags is already packed, man. De Ligt's bags are packed by the door, and same thing as Mazraoui. They're ready to go. Again, Wan-Bissaka, I see here that of course, in order for Mazraoui to come, Wan-Bissaka needs to be at the door, right? We appreciate Wan-Bissaka of his service to the team, right? But it's time for him to hit the door, right? But Wan-Bissaka now, I see I saw reports that he is demanding some kind of a payoff, right? So let me see. Let me look this up. Yeah, he's demanding some kind of a payoff. So yeah, so this is from Matt Hughes. Is saying that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is demanding a multi-million pound payoff from Manchester United to leave the club this summer. West Ham are willing to meet United's 18 million valuation for Wan-Bissaka, but they cannot afford his wage demands, leaving the deal in limbo. So look, again, these players, we're paying them way too much money, right? At the end of the day, all these players that we're trying to offload, it comes down to money, right? It's money, meaning the salary that we pay them, right? Because like now, Wan-Bissaka, why would he, leave United to go to West Ham and get paid less? It doesn't make sense. Same thing like what was happening with Maguire, right? Last season, to just get a deal done. Wan-Bissaka might, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I agree with you, Zaid. Like we should just get the deal done, and then maybe negotiate and have Wan-Bissaka leave later on. But I guess again, Ineos want that money to come in. That way they can use the money with Mazraoui, right? And that's, I think, it's an issue here. So again, with Wan-Bissaka's salary, it may be an issue. The same thing with Maguire last season, as I was saying. He West Ham, I think they came for him. Again, we couldn't agree on the salary package, right? Obviously, Maguire is getting paid a lot of money. West Ham cannot afford it, so he said, "You know what? Why should I leave? I'm going to stay here and fight for my position." Same thing. Wan-Bissaka may say, "You know what? I really don't need to leave, man. I'm getting paid good money here, right? Why should I go over there and struggle, or I can just wait till next season where my contract is next year when my contract is ending, then I can just roll, for free kind of thing, right?" So that's where we're at. Same thing with Jadon Sancho. We cannot offload him because we're paying him way too much money. So we are stuck with him. So it's one of those things like, man, like that's why I don't blame Ineos the way they're rolling this time. They're making sure that these players that we're bringing in, we cannot be paying them crazy money. That way, so if it doesn't work later on down the road, we can offload him. Just like if we're going to bring in Rabiot, listen, we cannot pay Rabiot crazy money, right? Maybe we can do like say under 200,000, and then maybe give him some sign-on bonuses and stuff like that. That way, his salary stays kind of uniform with all the new incoming players, to the Man United, right? So hopefully that happens. But bottom line is this, guys. I know we're all kind of frustrated with United right now. We just want signings, man. This week we just want to see, here we go, to here we go, right? People smash a like as you're coming in, right? We just want to hear, here we go. The lid is in, here we go. Mazraoui is in, and then we see, Wan-Bissaka at the door, McTominay at the door. Then we'll be all right, and then we can sort out that midfield situation for us, right? So, I mean, this whole news for UGARTE, I really did not expect it, right? Because based on all these reporters like the Ornstein and Romano, everybody was saying, look, UGARTE, he's set on going to Man United. He's already told his agent personal terms have already been agreed. So right now it's just a matter of waiting back for PSG and United to agree on a deal. But all of a sudden today, boom, deal is off. Come on, it's crazy. But we shall see, man. Let me see what else we have going on here with Manchester United when it comes to the transfer situation. Okay, let's see. I see, of course, Scott McTominay. We know that he's kind of open to move. We already talked about to Fulham, so we shall see if that transpires. And also today we saw that our new boy Lenny Yoro, man. So Manchester United, Lenny Yoro had today had a successful surgery of his foot injury. Basically, the Lille's former Lille's player should be back maybe in around 3 months. I'm glad he's only 18, so I'm hoping that the surgery apparently from what I read is the choice to do the surgery is going to help him heal faster rather than, because some of these injuries, like what he had, the metatarsal, you can actually let it heal by itself, but just, elevating and whatever, all those things. But when you do the surgery, you force the bones to fuse, to heal quicker when you do the surgery. So hopefully with him, last time he was injured, not like this, but his other injuries, he was also scheduled to be out for a while, but apparently he heals pretty quick. So I hope he will be back here soon. But again, like the 3 months is crazy. Um, uh, why does everybody? I know. I'm telling him, Zaid here is saying like, look, the 3 months. Why does everybody get injured? Listen, I think we're cursed, man. I think we're cursed, dude. Because listen, we're getting players who don't have an injury record. They come to us and boom, they go down with an injury. 3 months. Boom. Come on, man. Rasmus, we thought it was going to be a better season. Rasmus goes down. So now Ten Hag yesterday talking about, the reason he was playing, Jadon Sancho as a false nine in preseason is because he's thinking about maybe using Jadon Sancho or Bruno Fernandes as a false nine because of the striker situation that we have. What do you guys think about that, really? I mean, like, Ten Hag, man, listen, stop messing around, okay? Stop messing around. We have Xerxes, okay? We have Xerxes. He's there at Carrington training. Listen, he can start, man. Just throw him in there instead of doing this, experimenting, putting Jadon Sancho there or Bruno. Come on, man. There's a reason why you signed a 6-foot striker to come in to do the business for us, and Xerxes can play that false nine. But now we got to think about it this way. What maybe they're being cautious, obviously, because Xerxes hasn't really had game time, right? He couldn't join us obviously on preseason, so he hasn't had any game time. He came from the Euros. He went on vacation after that, so really hasn't had game time. So it could be, obviously, that's why Ten Hag is like, you know what, I'm gonna be cautious. I would rather play Sancho there, who has played preseason. He can play that role, and also with playing Sancho in centrally, it also kind of gives Ten Hag that flexibility of not forcing to play him on the left, because like the left, if I'm not, I mean, based on what I saw, Rashford is definitely going to start in that Man City game on that left hand side. I think definitely it's going to be Rashford. Again, false nine could be Jadon Sancho, and then of course right wing. Come on, man, we know who it's going to be. Ahmad is going to be on that right wing, right? I think that's going to be the front three to start with, and of course maybe later on you bring in Garnacho or something like that. But basically that's how it wants to start, and I think by playing Sancho centrally, and he can do it. Sancho can play that role, but we ideally we want specialists to play in these position, right? Oh, uses. That's why you won't get it. Hey, listen, Mark Walsh is saying, yeah, United, yeah, and listen, that's what we're rebuilding, man. We're rebuilding. We're trying to bring in new injection. We're trying to bring in new players to the team, and hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. So yes, we're gonna have these issues here and there, but again, especially when it comes to injuries, we need to work on our medical staff to make sure these players that whatever, if it's training or whatever the situation, we need to kind of drill down to why are we getting so many injuries, especially in the defense, right? And that way, once we identify that, then we can say, okay, we need to do A, B, and C to make sure, okay, to mitigate those injuries, because I mean, it's getting ridiculous, right? It's getting ridiculous every time. Like now, today we saw Lisandro Martinez coming back. We saw Luke Shaw coming back to training, Kobe Mainu, Facundo Palestri. I mean, just looking at Lisandro Martinez, I am worried, man. Like, I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way. When he starts that game, whatever game he starts, hopefully he starts the Man City game. I'm sure some people will be like, you're watching the game, but you were like, oh, please don't don't get injured. Please don't get injured. Because listen, in that back four, one player that we cannot afford to lose again for a long period of time, it is Lisandro Martinez. Because Lisandro, with him there, and then you can have Maguire to partner him for now, but ideally by then we would have the likes of the Lit in that way. Could be like the Lit and Lisandro for a whole bunch of games, and then hopefully Leno Euro is back by then, and then it'll be those two can chop and change, and then Maguire can be, can hold the bench a little bit, right? So we shall see, man. So basically, guys, that's what I wanted to chat with you guys today. Ugarte's deal is off. Man United is gonna be looking at other targets. You guys, let me know in the comments below who would your top two targets in that midfield apart from Ugarte would be. Personally, I will go with Fofana because 35 million we can handle that. But United are looking at Zubamendi, Rios, and both of these players. They're gonna cost us at least more than 50 million. So I don't know how we're gonna pull that off, but stay tuned because you know what? With United, whenever we leave a deal, there's definitely another deal that they're going for, and we're gonna hear it soon from Ornstein or Fabrizio. They're gonna say, okay, this is the target they're looking at now, and most likely that could be the target that we're gonna get. Same thing that we did last time. Branthwaite, we pulled out, boom, we got in Leno Euro. We shall see. People, that is all I got for you. Smash a like. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. I will talk to you in the next one. Peace out.